listening to the Casting for Fun podcast, the show that talks about entertainment, sports, music, and inspirational stories for all to enjoy. We're glad that you could join us today. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here is your host, Albert Pineda.
Welcome, everybody, to the Casting for Fun podcast. I'm your host, Albert Pineda. And for this week's episode, I'm going to be discussing D23 news with a good friend, frequent collaborator to the show, Eddie Ramirez. D23 took place this past weekend in Anaheim, California. D23, for those who may not know, is essentially Disney's version of Comic-Con, where they'll put on panels talking about their projects, making big announcements, and showing lots in the convention floor area, having booths set up with lots of cool things to see, costumes, props, all kinds of stuff related to Disney. And of course, because Disney encompasses Marvel and Star Wars, they got a ton of really cool, exciting geek stuff to talk about. So of course, that was very enticing for Eddie and I to get to discuss and talk about. And there was lots of really cool announcements over this past weekend. This past weekend also saw the return of the NFL, which is exciting for me, because I love just watching football. So, I mean, that was really fun for me this past weekend. Along with that, Cobra Kai Season 5 was released on Netflix this past Friday. So I've already watched the whole season. I loved it. It was fantastic. I'm going to be doing a Cobra Kai spoiler cast episode in a few weeks with a good friend, Nathan Wolf. So I'm really excited to get to chat with him about Cobra Kai. And that's going to be really exciting for me. So this week's episode is going to be talking D23 news. And it's just great. It was actually a really great weekend for me for entertainment news and entertainment stuff like sports and all kinds of really great stuff that happened this past weekend. But then, of course, on Sunday, the 11th, is when Eddie and I recorded. So that fact wasn't lost on us. So we definitely take a moment to reflect back on the events of September 11, 2001, to honor and pay our respects to those who lost their lives on that fateful day, and for the acts of heroism shown by first responders, police officers, firefighters, medical personnel, everybody who was there, who selflessly gave up sacrifice to save those who were in trouble and needed help. And just to reflect back on the importance of the freedoms we enjoy, and that we get to be blessed and, take advantage of life. Life is very precious. So Eddie and I take a moment just to reflect back on September 11th and talk about great D23 news. So here we go. This is my conversation with Eddie Ramirez. Returning to the Casting for Fun podcast is friend of the show and frequent collaborator, Eddie Ramirez. Eddie, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Albert. I'm good. As mentioned just before the show, definitely drying up from the quick thunder and rain, but I'm here, safe and sound. How about you, man? How are you?
Awesome. Yeah, doing good too. I mean, I'm glad that it kind of stopped, because if it keeps going, like, it makes it harder for my kids to sleep, and then it's just
yeah, I hear that.
But so it was a great weekend for entertainment news. We have D23 occurring at the Anaheim Convention Center. So really, really good stuff, man. Lots of stuff to talk about and go over. Really quick though, before we jump into that, I wanted to just acknowledge that today is obviously a significant day in the history of our nation and in the world. 21 years ago today, the unfortunate terrorist attacks occurred. So just a quick moment, just to pay reverence and respects to those who lost their lives that day, and to the first responders, those who gave themselves to help those who are in need. So it makes it possible for us, sit down and chit chat about entertainment news, but we have people protecting our freedoms, So
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a we won't forget. I mean, I'll always remember where I was. I was first day of sixth grade. I went to Royal Oak, and I was out there in Covina, and I remember I turned on the TV when we normally watching Pokemon. It was not that. It was the smoke of one tower, and then I see the other one live get hit, and it was scary. It was a very scary time, very, very new and shock for a lot of us. But like you mentioned, how the country came together and how we responded as a whole, especially for those who gave their lives, those who were affected since, we honor them by never forgetting and always trying to do better. Right. So
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So live the best we can, and enjoy the wonderful freedoms and the things that we do enjoy, such as sitting down and getting chat about nerd stuff. So
yeah, man of that, man.
Very cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the news. So D23, so much news from both Marvel and Star Wars and everything that Disney owns, which is quite a bit as far as the entertainment world is concerned, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many genres that were touched over the weekend of just like what's going to be updated and what's going to be progressing from sequels to prequels. But let me throw one right off the top for you.
Oh, go for it, Eddie. Yeah.
So some may know that it's not Disneyland or California Adventure, but downtown Disney for me is the happiest place on earth. For me, I love that the convenience of that quick little downtown. All the stores are there. If I do go to the parks, I'm right there when I'm done. You know, it's that quick spot. Even when I don't have a ticket for the parks, I just love going to downtown Disney. They're gonna add a Portos. That was announced.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And
yeah,
that made me so happy because now I can get my beignets and my potato balls in the same hour. Hell yes.
That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. In fact, I agree with you. Downtown Disney is actually a cool hangout place. I mean, if you wanted to go just for a date, I mean, it's a perfect place to take someone. In fact, it's kind of funny. So some friends of mine, they told me that they thought they made reservations for the park and they were expecting to go to Disneyland that day, but they didn't. So they couldn't get in. But they kind of disguised just hanging out at downtown Disney to their kids as like being at Disneyland. And I guess they didn't know any better. So
there's a lot of things to do there to distract the kiddos. So, hey, I mean, what a good workaround for them, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So actually, let's chat a little bit about the parks. I mean, you know, there was two announcements that they made for both the Avengers Campus and for the Galaxy's Edge, which I think are pretty cool.
Definitely.
Both of them are going to have their own animatronic character to interact with. So Grogu is going to be at Galaxy's Edge, and they're actually going to have a Hulk, an actual Hulk. I can't wait to see the Hulk in person at California Adventure. That's going to be really, really cool.
That's going to be wild, dude. And on top of that, they're expanding the Marvel section. They're going to add a whole new Thanos ride.
Oh, yeah.
So they're expanding, not replacing anything. So that's awesome. Yeah, so it's going to get wild. That 2024, I think, is when everything's officially done, or 2023 when it's all set up. It's going to be a crazy time to go to either park. I don't think you're going to feel like you're missing out if you just go to one versus the other.
Oh, yeah. I think the animatronic Hulk, I think, is actually supposed to make his debut this week. And then
really? I didn't catch that. That's awesome.
And then I think Grogu is it's going to be either in October or November. So before the end of the year, we'll get to see Grogu.
It's going to be in November.
November? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, Hulk's already out there. That's hilarious. I can't wait to see pictures of that.
That's going to be really cool. Really cool, man. So any other movie news you want to jump into for Disney properties? I have a few that I wanted to bring up before we jump into like the Star Wars and Marvel stuff.
Oh, no. I mean, I guess we can talk about one of the biggies, Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
That one's coming out.
Indiana Jones is really cool. I didn't realize this, but I guess it's not going to be directed by Steven Spielberg, by the gentleman James Mangold, who I think has done some good work. So that should be exciting. I would imagine Spielberg's going to be involved in some capacity.
I think so. That's probably like his baby right there.
Yeah, my guess is probably writing or overseeing the script with George Lucas. So.
Yeah. I'd imagine in some way, like you, because I was curious about that too. I'm like, you know what? They're probably going to do what Spielberg and Lucas have been doing throughout the years anyways. I mean, it's all one old school family back there.
Yeah.
So like, I'd imagine he's going to be looking at scenes and offering advice on how to shoot the angles, maybe add some graphics, maybe change the sound effects, things like that to just kind of enhance the moments of certain spots. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be like, but for sure you're going to see his fingerprints in that movie, no doubt. I mean, it's Indiana Jones. I mean, that was like the ultimate story of, Spielberg and Lucasfilm just like getting together, to just throw out a trilogy. So for sure they'll be involved in some way.
And then also they were reporting that this will for sure 100% be the final for Harrison Ford. So.
I don't know anymore, man. For all I know, there's another snap in the multiverse and he comes back. For all I know, but
we'll see. Yes, I mean, that's what they're saying.
Supposedly this will be the last one.
I think most likely, yeah. But you never know.
You never know. I'm sure he'll hang his whip one day.
Yeah, yeah. Did you happen to see? I mean, we talked about Pirates of the Caribbean the last time that we were together talking about summer movies. Did
Yeah.
you see the Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy that came out shortly after the first Pirates?
Yeah,
That one you did. Okay, was that one
I
any
did.
good?
Honestly, like, uh, all is subjective, right? So not a lot of people I know talk about that movie. For me, I actually had a kick out of it. I enjoyed it. You enter it for what it is. You enter it as just like a fun Disney movie.
Mhm.
If you go in with less expectations, I think you just enjoy it, especially if you're like under 10 years old. I mean, that's like right up your alley. I mean,
Mhm.
the imagination's there. So then when you do that and then go to the ride, like as a kid, I would have been like so stoked. And I saw it later on, obviously, but I wasn't a kid anymore. But
Yeah.
like, I think if you have a kid that's like under 10, they're gonna love that movie. And then you take them to Disneyland, I think they're gonna start pointing out things throughout the Haunted Mansion. It's
Mhm.
gonna be that much more immersive for them.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. I mean, one of these days, I think I'm gonna get around to actually watching it because I never saw it myself, but I heard. I mean, I didn't really hear negative or positive about it. All I heard was that it just bombed. It just like nobody went to go see it when it was.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was during that time where Eddie Murphy had like a bunch of. He did movies, but they weren't selling.
Yeah.
He had like a bad stint. So it was during that time.
Oh, okay.
So it was after
Okay.
the Doolittle stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I bring it up because they announced they're going to do a new Haunted Mansion movie, and the cast is actually pretty exciting. So Rosario Dawson, Owen
Yes.
Wilson, Danny DeVito, and
Yeah.
then Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be playing the ghost, Madame Latoya. I'm not sure if I'm getting her name right, but the one who's like
Don't
heads
ask
in
me
the
how to
crystal
say
ball.
it.
Yeah. So a really famous, popular ghost from the movie, and I'm sorry, from the ride rather. And then Jared Leto is going to be playing the Hatbox Ghost. So I had to do a little research about that. If you're a hardcore Disney fan, you actually love that ghost because apparently that ghost was supposed to be part of the original ride, but it didn't work right, the animatronics, so they had to take it out. And then it was with the silver anniversary back in 2015, they were finally able to figure it out. So the ghost has been since added into the ride. And apparently he's a really popular ghost. Everyone seems to love him. So I guess it's kind of cool that they are going to incorporate it into this new movie played by Jared Leto. So we'll see how that turns out.
I think this will be especially now they're hitting up old IPs, so revamping them. I mean, heck, we even have Mufasa.
Yeah.
So I think they're all touching like old IPs, what they can do to like kind of revamp them, kind of re-excite without having to just recreate or create something brand new, which is good. I think a lot of old IPs maybe just came out at the wrong time 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So it's nice to get that attention back on those IPs again that for some people really enjoyed.
No, very good. Very good, man. National Treasure. That one looks pretty cool. It's a Disney Plus series. A new lead. So it was a Latina lead, which would be pretty cool, but it's supposed to be taking place within the Nicolas Cage universe because his partner, Riley, played by Justin Bartha, the actor, is going to be making an appearance, as is Harvey Keitel, the FBI agent from the first one. Those two movies, I think, were kind of underrated. I really enjoyed them quite a bit. I thought they were
actually fun. I'm with you. I think it's rightfully said underrated. I don't think maybe the promotions didn't do it favors, but I actually enjoyed them. They were fun. I've seen them several times over. So definitely it's nice to see them at least kind of get back into that world again, new adventures and different leads to kind of re-explore things.
Yeah, but then keeping the same vibe and feel,
right.
As many of the characters that you possibly can. My guess is Nicolas Cage isn't going to be involved, or at least just yet, but maybe they have a trick up their sleeve and they're actually going to bring him out for an episode or two. Who knows?
Yeah, I would put some money probably for an episode, like kind of they'll play a homage kind of thing.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Were there any other news about the parks or movies, Disney, that you want to bring up outside of Star Wars or Marvel? Because that's what I wanted to jump into next.
Yeah. So there's Splash Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
They're changing it up. Finally, it's not going to be, what was it before? I don't even know what movie it was. I never saw it as a kid.
The Sound of the South.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so, it had like, little maybe racist connotations.
Yeah, there was some very mixed reviews about it throughout the years, and they've touched it up to try to kind of get that black cloud out of there, but nicely done. They're actually going to make it the Princess and the Frog theme.
Yeah, yeah, that should be fun.
So nice flip on everything, you know. So that's gonna come out, I think, in a year and a half from now, something like that. So they're revamping that now. So that's exciting for the park. I mean, that's a classic ride. I mean, I love that ride, especially during the hot summers, man. You go on that 10 times and you'll be just fine. So
Mhm,
it's really cool they're touching that one up and updating it for the modern time.
mhm. Very good, very good. Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't really. I mean, it wasn't for me personally, but the princess movie news that they talked about, I think, were pretty cool. Like they did the trailer for the new Little Mermaid, which again, I know
Yes.
it's kind of got mixed reactions, but my understanding is the actress they got, she's got a really good singing voice. So
Oh, have
you
you seen
can.
the teaser trailer for it?
I saw that there was one released. I didn't actually watch it just yet. So
Beautiful voice.
okay,
It's a quick, short. I mean, the whole thing's like a little over a minute, but really of content, you probably get 30 seconds of it.
okay.
You know, it's a teaser, so it's really just to get you interested, right? And I checked it out, and her voice is solid. I
Oh,
mean,
okay, cool.
much better than the Beauty and the Beast one. I wasn't a fan of that movie. It just didn't click for Belle, but everyone else was pretty good. But in this one, at least for the lead sake, she's solid. I think they picked a great mermaid, so we'll just see where it goes.
Very cool, very cool. If my daughter wants to see it, I'll take her. Otherwise, we might just wait for it to be on Disney Plus. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be on Disney Plus like a year, like a
yeah,
couple months after.
yeah, yeah.
They had Willow,
Oh, Willow. I definitely wanted to bring up Willow.
and
Yeah.
they're really promoting Willow pretty strong right now. They had a full trailer for it. I mean, they had a teaser like I think like Comic-Con. I think it was there. It was
Comic
like
Con,
two
then I
months,
think like end of last year, they were doing like a bunch of
or
content for
maybe that's what it
yeah,
was.
like around Christmas
Yeah,
time last year.
it was like a quick touch of it, like, hey, Willow coming out. But now it's like a full trailer.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good. You know, I think especially for those who grew up with it,
Mhm.
I think having some of the original cast back is going to bring a nice, good feel to it. And you know, for anyone who has like your kids, I'm sure if they see it, hopefully it's something that sticks with them for the long run.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we talked about this during the Comic-Con episode we did, you know, that fantasy is almost kind of making like its comeback, you know. So
It
got
is. I mean, without
the
going off
Rings of
topic,
Power
yeah.
on Amazon Prime right now, and then House of the Dragon on HBO Max,
We're
and
spoiled.
the Dungeons and Dragons movie that we talked about for next year. So
And
Willow's one of those really not I mean cult status IPs that people like that love it, really, really love it. So I think this would
I
be
would
cool
agree.
to
Yeah.
kind of introduce it to a bigger audience. And then
Yeah.
it was cool that they did a surprise cast announcement. Christian Slater is going to be in the show. What role he plays,
Really?
I
I
don't
didn't
know. Oh yeah,
catch that.
yeah, they brought him up on stage. It was pretty cool.
Nice. All right, cool.
That should be cool to see what role he plays, and that's going to be releasing
See what
this
he's
year,
up to
November
these
30th.
days.
So just a few more months till we get that one.
Yeah. I am bummed. I saw Disney World, not Disneyland, is getting a new Tron roller coaster ride.
Oh, okay, yeah, I heard about that.
It looks really cool. Selfishly, I am mad that it's over there in Florida and not here in California, but hey, more reason to go to the other park someday.
Yeah, yeah. Very nice, man. Well, there's nothing else with the regular stuff. Well, I guess let's jump into the big news. So Star Wars and Marvel.
This is what everyone logged on for.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, have at it, man. If you take lead, I'll follow you through this long trail of content.
Okay, perfect. So a new trailer for Andor, the last one. Andor is looking really, really exciting. I love that they're taking prequel elements. So, you know, showing like the Senate room from the prequels, like on Coruscant. That looks really cool. Showing more of the development of Mon Mothma, who's, you know, one of the founding leaders of the Rebel Alliance.
Finally get to have some like insight on that character. She's an awesome character.
Cassian Andor, I think, is a really cool character too. I mean, I always tell people this. I love Rogue One. I think it's the best Disney Star Wars movie that they've done.
Me too. 100% behind that.
So to explore more of that would be great. It is just a little bit, I understand for story purposes, because in the story, Cassian and Jyn Erso haven't met each other. So obviously we're not going to see Felicity Jones return. Right. But I think it will still be cool to explore the other characters from Rogue One that they can.
Yeah, I actually went to the Rogue One re-release in theaters 2 weeks ago, and they had it was a special Andor re-release or a special Andor feature that was attached to that movie. So they released it in theaters for just I think it was just one day. So I went to AMC, and then prior to Rogue One, they played one scene from Andor. It was a 5-minute scene.
Oh, awesome.
I'm telling you, right? I'm getting chills. Gosh. This show has a budget. This show actually feels like, okay, when you watch Amazon Prime, HBO, and Showtime shows, Hulu, like when they have a big budget, you see it, you feel it, you see it in the camera angles, the background, animations, whatever it is. This show has that. And it looks like like finally, like aside from Mando, we're getting a proper invested financial show that they're really pushing hard on. And you see it, man. Like that 5 minutes, you kind of, I won't spoil it, but you see it throughout some of the trailers as it is. Man, it felt intense, ready to go. When it ended, everyone in theaters, because it was a sellout. Everyone was yelling like wild, like more, and then they started playing the movie Rogue One. So it was such a, when you like went right into Rogue One, and it was just like you're so amped up for this show, the way they set us up that night. I can't wait for this show. 3-episode premiere. I mean, we don't, we usually get these half hours, but they're really like 20 minutes or whatever. I hope we get a full hour and a half, just indulge in this. So I'm excited. I mean, Diego Luna loves his character. Every interview he's in, he's just like all about it. So we get a lot of cameos from Clone Wars, Rogue One, and Rebels in this. So I guess it's going to be the first season. Every 3 episodes, it's going to jump about 5 years.
Oh, really? Cool.
So it's 12 episodes, but every 3 or 4 episodes, it jumps like a timeline in his life. So by the time it ends and enters season 2, they said that season 2 is literally the last year before Rogue One. And supposedly this series ends into Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really excited to see how they do these time jumps, to see how the Empire evolves over time, how the rebellion evolves over time, and how the galaxy like kind of breeds this chaos. So I'm excited, man.
Oh, yeah, this is gonna be a good one. Yeah, so that's September 21st. Can't wait. I know it got pushed back slightly for She-Hulk, but I think it's gonna be worth the wait, and it's gonna be awesome to get those 3 episodes right away, like you just mentioned. Yes. So it's gonna be pretty cool. The animated shows that they talked about look pretty cool. So they announced Bad Batch season 2 premiering the beginning of next year in January.
Yeah.
But the Tales of the Jedi, that one looks really interesting to me. So it's like
you see the trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It looked really cool.
Really
so and it's like short, so it's not really long.
Yes.
But we're gonna get to see a young Count Dooku training a Padawan.
That more than any single one I want to see so bad. Why does he defect? And how Qui-Gon, like why he becomes who he is and how he evolves as somebody.
Yeah.
So man. It looked like a nice little like callback to the Clone Wars. It was they never finished the last season. Well, back then, I know they did it now, but prior to that, they had these lost episodes where it was like every 3 episodes a different arc of unfinished storytelling. It looks like they're touching on that through this, and it's really nice to see updated graphics. A lot of the original voice cast is there, so we're gonna get a lot of good feels of how they all lead into their proper roles in the prequels.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, that's going to be really exciting and cool. And that's October 26th, so just in a few weeks or a month away. So that should be really, really cool to see as well.
Yep.
And then, of course, the full trailer for Mandalorian season 3. That one looks really fantastic as well. You talked about the big budget with Andor. I mean, this looks like as with the previous seasons. With
that armor is shiny as ever.
Yeah. So we get to see that Carl Weathers and Katie Sackhoff are both returning. As I don't remember Carl Weathers' character on the show, the name of his character. But obviously Katie Sackhoff plays the fan favorite character, Bo-Katan.
Yes, yeah. I don't know why I can't remember his name, but he has a nice evolution. He went from just a the guild's leader, just offering bounties, striking bounties to offer off and all that, to then becoming kind of like the local governor of the small town where he was at. Grief Kargas, that's his name.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Grief
Thank
Kargas.
you. It just like went in my head. So then just to see him kind of evolve as a character, I mean, he looks very nice and cleaned up. So business is good for him, but obviously, bad business is probably coming his way too. So, Mando's going to be asking for a lot of attention this one. It just looks amazing to see Mandalore, to see it destroyed, the remnants of it, and what that means from Mando and then his former cults to then all those from the Watch. So it's gonna be nice to see how like all that comes together. And I'm actually curious to see about the cult. They're called the firstborns of the Watch or something like that. Basically, they're the defectors. They're the ones that actually joined the Empire at some point. We see that at the end of the Clone Wars latest season. So I want to see who that armorer chick is. I still have a theory about her. So wondering where that goes.
Yeah. And then last thing also, I mean, Giancarlo Esposito was there in person for the panel, take part of the panel discussion itself. So it'll be really cool to see him back. I mean, he's just a perfect villain.
He's a magnet on screen.
Yeah.
They had pictures of the Ahsoka series too. No trailer, but it did show glimpses, a new picture and images, stuff like that. They're still keeping that one under that trailer that they released at Star Wars Celebration under wraps. I'd imagine they're still touching up graphics and stuff like that. And I'm sure maybe closer to like Mandalorian, they'll release that, because I'm sure Mando will lead into the Ahsoka series in some format. I'm sure.
Yeah, that was my understanding. I think Mando season 3 is supposed to be in February or February, March, or early in the year.
Early release next year, yeah.
And I would imagine Ahsoka probably next summer, but we'll have to just wait and see. But
yeah, something like that. And then they also had Skeleton Crew. They showed images about that one.
That's right.
So that one looks really interesting. I mean, the premise is basically, oh my gosh, she was in here, let me get the Skeleton Crew.
Oh, Jude Law.
Thank you, Jude Law. I was great for him. So he's the lead.
Yeah, he was in town also because, like, we didn't mention it earlier, there's going to be a Peter Pan and Wendy Disney Plus show. And I guess he's going to be playing Captain Hook on that one. So it kind of seems to me that Disney like to use a lot of the same actors for their projects. So, they used Jude Law from Captain Marvel. Now they're going to use him in the Skeleton Crew, and he's going to be in Peter Pan. So.
Yeah, no, he's very active. I think he was underutilized in the Miss Marvel movie.
Oh,
I really like Captain Marvel. Yeah, I really liked his character in that one, and hopefully in this one he looks like the lead, and it's him with a lot of younglings.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be cool to like get some insight into how Jedi at a certain age really think. They all come from various worlds and societies, and what it means to be a Force user versus, I don't know if he's actually a Jedi. So it'll be cool to see like just a normal human, right, interacting with these super beings, basically, that could change the tide of the galaxy if one goes bad. So it's really cool to maybe get those interactions, kind of humanize the Jedi who have gotten this stigma of like, oh, they're very one way, but we get to maybe see a more humanistic point of view of them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Anything else with Star Wars news, or are you ready to jump into some Marvel talk?
I'm ready to jump in, man.
Okay, let's do it. So, I really wish I could have been in attendance. I know it's really hard to get in. You got to buy the ticket. You got to wait in line. Sometimes, camp out the night before. But for those who got in, they got the special treat. They actually did a musical performance of the Rogers the Musical. I Can Do This All Day, which I thought was really, really funny. I know a lot of people had kind of mixed feelings towards that sequence in the Hawkeye show. I personally loved it. I thought it was
loved it. Man, those people need to relax.
Yeah.
Those were fun. That's fun. I mean, this is like, they have to honor how much gimmicky it really is. Because if you look at Captain America, he even says it in the Avengers movie, the first one, where he even says about his suit, isn't that kind of out of date?
Oh yeah, old fashioned.
And Agent Coulson says, well, maybe this is what we need right now.
Mhm.
It's basically saying like, I'm kind of a gimmick,
Mhm.
and even in the first movie, he's basically like a dude, like
Yeah.
just a gimmick, but that's kind of the acknowledgement of what it is, and it's fun. It's a fun little touch.
Absolutely. I agree, man. Absolutely. So they brought out Ryan Coogler, which was really cool to show off footage for Wakanda Forever. Not released to the internet, but it was just for the audience in attendance. So looking really good, looking really exciting. November,
I'm so excited,
almost here. So
it is coming, man. The NBA is going to end strong with this phase 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, they showed off that, which was really cool. They did formally announce that Randall Park will be returning as FBI agent Jimmy Woo. So, I mean, I loved him in the Ant-Man movie and in WandaVision. So I think it'd be cool to have him.
He was good.
His interactions with Paul Rudd are pretty cool. Pretty
funny. Definitely. And they showed up a quick scene in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
With Kang in there, and there was a sequence there. So really excited how they use Kang throughout this, like pretty much all the movies,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Werewolf by Night teaser. I mean, the Werewolf by Night, I've heard of that comic series. It's a bit unusual. I mean, perfect timing that they're going to be releasing it in October for Halloween.
Yes. It's like a
how
short
it actually
series.
Ties into the MCU itself, I'm not sure, but that should be worth checking out. I think it'd be pretty interesting.
I got a theory on it though. Nothing's thrown out, but this is me. Blade exists, werewolves and vampires.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you had the recent Marvel show, oh my god, Knight was his name? I'm brain farting on it. The Marvel show. Moon Knight. Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, yeah.
There you go. Oh my gosh, I'm so off tonight. Moon Knight, they do touch on they did have werewolves in there. So they're gonna have to start explaining why werewolves and Blade exist with vampires. I think, is this another type of mutation? What is it? Are they all mutants? But this is just another way to go about it. They have all these old gods. So is there an affected way about it? So I think this can be a nice horror, but also little baby steps to Blade.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In fact,
that's my theory on it.
Vampires were name dropped in Loki season 1. I believe, Owen Wilson's character had mentioned that. So, obviously the supernatural elements exist as well. And then they introduced the Darkhold, the evil spell book from Multiverse of Madness. Mm-hmm. So it'd be really cool. I mean, I haven't heard anything yet, but it'd be really cool if they do decide to utilize Ghost Rider, and then they can put all the supernatural characters together too.
Yeah, maybe that's what Loki season 2 is about.
Yeah,
because the premise for that one, they announced it. The whole cast came out and they were talking about they're jumping through timelines to save whatever's happening. So maybe all that mixing in and out starts throwing all these different mutants and vampires and Ghost Rider, all these supernatural into one timeline that kind of is what we get, like the comics.
Absolutely, man. Same with Loki season 2. So I wanted to mention again another surprise cast announcement, just like they did for Willow. They announced that Ke Huy Quan is going to be joining Loki season 2. So a lot of people maybe don't recognize the name, but if you're a fan of 80s movies, you'll definitely recognize him when he was a kid, playing Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Data from the Goonies. So I mean, really, really excited that he's joining the cast.
He's been making a nice comeback, man. He was in a critically acclaimed movie earlier this year, Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's one of that was his first big role in 30 years, 35 years.
I think so, yeah.
And they say, I didn't get a chance to watch the movie, but I heard nothing but really good things about his role. So I think he's just on it again. I think he's just happy he found his footing in acting right now, and why not? So I'm glad to see him come back, especially if you're a Goonies fan. You're gonna love seeing him around.
Yeah, and then one more also side note for the backstage area. It would have been really cool to have been there backstage to see everybody there, because apparently him and Harrison Ford got to meet up and take pictures and reminisce.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
It was all over my internet social media feed. Like people are showing the pictures of him as an adult now with Harrison Ford, which is really, really cool. I guess it was like the first time they'd been reunited since Temple of Doom. So then they're showing us.
Oh my gosh, you're right. They're hugging backstage. I'm watching it right now. Yeah. They look happy. That's awesome. That's a good one.
So Loki season 2, that's one I'm really, really looking forward to. But along with Loki season 2, the other Disney Plus show that looks really, really exciting to me is Secret Invasion. So we got to see the full trailer for that. It's cool that Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson's finally getting his own starring show. Really excited that they also showed, that Kobe Smulders returning, Don Cheadle coming back as Rhodey. And then even smaller characters like Martin Freeman coming back as Everett Ross from Black Panther and Civil War. And then we'll get to see the MCU debut of Emilia Clarke. She's a fan favorite actress from Game of Thrones, so it'll be really cool to see her role. So the Secret Invasion, I mean, I love the comic book series that it's based on. My guess is it won't be an exact interpretation, but I think they're gonna do justice to the comic series. I think it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is one of those shows. Remember, this is all after Black Panther. So Black Panther is the end of one phase, and because the end of this phase is kind of where everyone's at. The next phase is now the beginning of really the King Dynasty and everything that's about to happen with all that, the repercussions of all these movies. So what he's up to, I don't know, but we see you get this tension throughout the whole trailer. Very secret agent like. It's very true to his calling. So I'm glad Sam L is getting like a bigger role where we can kind of expand on his character a lot more. He's not just a cameo and just pocket scenes anymore. So it's really going to be nice to see him, just what it really means of what he's doing, what the importance of that. Since he's been in space all this time, he's got to come back and I guess save the Earth somehow.
Oh yeah. The short trailer that we got, that Kobe Smulders is making that comment, like, you're not answering my calls. I mean, we needed you, we called you, but now you're back. So I think that's going to be addressed, because we can tell that in the MCU that Nick Fury has a close relationship with Maria Hill and with Natasha Romanoff. So the fact that that he's back now, I think it's going to be to see them play off of each other. I think it's going to be really good.
It'll be nice. There's a famous scene that was cut off where in the first Avengers, where Smulders' character, she went to the council to speak against Nick Fury's actions. And
I saw that. Yeah.
Remember? So there's always been that tension. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad they're still keeping that. Mm-hmm. She's loyal, but she's also like, dude, what the heck? So there's a lot. I hope they really expand on that dynamic, and it looks like we're getting that.
I think so. I think that'd be really cool to see that too. It was kind of nice to get confirmation that that War Machine's show didn't get canceled. I mean, it was.
Dude, I thought it was too. I really thought it was. But I'm glad it was.
Armor Wars is still on.
Real. So Armor Wars. There you go.
Yeah, we're still gonna get Armor Wars, and then Matt Shockman. I'm not sure who that is. Oh no, I apologize. No, he did an episode, or he was like the director for WandaVision. Yes. He was officially named as the director for Fantastic Four, but no casting yet.
No casting, man. I thought this was it. I thought Comic-Con was the little, like, here's the appetizer. Mm-hmm. We're getting a full cast, but maybe too soon.
Maybe a little too soon. Yeah. So I guess, the Fantastic Four isn't slated until November of 2024. So they got some time. But
yeah. More than enough time.
Yeah. They showed off footage for the Echo show. So confirming that Vincent D'Onofrio is returning as Kingpin, which is really cool. And then also for Daredevil as well. So they got to see Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio reunited.
Yeah, they were on stage. And I saw a little clip of that. They were happy to be together. So, it was mentioned, like, it feels weird coming back, but also I've been here for a long time. Yeah. So it's a nice new fresh slate for us. So really curious to see what this Daredevil is since, the Spider-Man movie that all reset, so we'll see what we get. And remember, he supposedly may show up in She-Hulk. I saw that in the trailer for She-Hulk, so we're all waiting for that episode.
Keep an eye on the next episode. Maybe the next episode we might see.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But it was actually kind of interesting too. So I did a lot of research on it and stuff like that. Apparently, Charlie Cox was doing interviews after the panel was over, and he had told a member of the press that this is for sure a reboot of the character. So not Daredevil season 4 of Netflix. So everything we saw before, I guess technically doesn't count for the continuity. You and I kind of talked about it before, like which aspects were Marvel going to do. And I had suggested, I think they were just going to cherry pick which aspects they like. So it looks like that is in fact the case. So we'll see who else they pick. But again, it could be that characters like Luke Cage or the Punisher, they may end up getting recast when they do make their MCU debuts.
Right. Possibly. Yeah. I think it's just one of those things where, I mean, this whole multiverse thing, if we just kind of keep it simple in this complex continuity they got going,
Yeah.
I think we just got to look at those Netflix Marvel shows as that, just like the Spider-Man movies in the Sonyverse. It's like, hey, this was a different universe where this was happening, but now that snap throws it all in where some kind of crossover and some don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So two more bits of news that I wanted to share. Tim Blake Nelson, who played Daniel Stearns, he was a scientist from the Incredible Hulk movie, so the Ed Norton Hulk movie, way back then. If you remember in that one, he like falls down to the ground during an accident, and then like gamma, like from Bruce Banner's blood, introduced into his brain, so he's setting him up to be the leader all the way back in 2008, and we never heard anything from it since. But apparently he is going to be in the Captain America New World Order movie. So that's pretty exciting, pretty cool. I think
he's going to be the baddie.
Yeah.
And they brought back a couple cast members from the show. They also had the would-be Captain America that never got to be Captain America. And they went through that whole racial discussion in that episode. So to see him come back in some
Isaiah Bradley, yeah,
Isaiah Bradley. So see him come back. I mean, that's gonna be exciting, and maybe that has to do a little bit with what you just talked about. Maybe that all kind of come to fruition. Maybe they're all part of that. They know about the repercussions of what goes wrong with the gamma. So we'll see.
Yeah, that should be pretty exciting too. Very cool. And then one last bit of news. So they officially announced the lineup for the Thunderbolts movie. Which again, the Thunderbolts they announced at Comic-Con back in July. So we're going to be seeing Yelena Belova, first introduced in Black Widow, so Black Widow's sister. The Red Guardian, so David Harbour.
That's gonna be hilarious.
Ghost, so like the female villain from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, she'll be back. U.S. Agent, who we got to see in Falcon and Winter Soldier. The Taskmaster, who we got to see in Black Widow, and I know there was mixed reactions to that character, right? Because again, the gender swap. And lastly, Bucky Barnes. Bucky Barnes is going to be joining their lineup. He's
going to be in it too.
Yeah.
With Valentina. She'll be the new Amanda Waller, I guess. Yeah. This Marvel version. So I'm curious to see how hardcore they take it, So let's see where it goes. I'm not too familiar with this property through Marvel, but everything I've kind of grazed over and touched on, and it seems like this is their version of the Suicide Squad. So let's just see where this goes, and I'm excited. It's a nice lineup. Like, honestly, I mean, they got a great lineup of actors. They've already recently been in the movies in some way or in the shows in some way, so they're kind of fresh in our memory. So it'll be really cool to see how that all blows up into some craziness.
Conspicuous by the absence, though. I mean, there was a fan speculation or fan casting of the team. They fans really wanted to see Emil Blonsky come back as the Abomination, to be the muscle of the team, essentially. Right. I mean, they didn't officially announce him, but we still gotta wait till that movie comes out, so we'll see what happens.
I think he'll be there. I mean, if you've been keeping up with She-Hulk, I mean, he in the very last episode of that one, he kind of makes it a point that he'll be taken care of, but it wasn't referring to at all about his 7 wives that he has or whatever. That's going on there. It was a line that was very direct of his friends that will take care of him. That was the line. And I mean, what else are we talking about? So I think he will be there in some way. I don't think they want to give up everything, because then you kind of give up the fun and surprise. So I'm sure he'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So that's all the news I got, man. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up or discuss for Marvel news or anything related to D23?
No, aside from the Marvel and Star Wars, I mean, I'm really looking forward to what they do here. I was hoping in Star Wars they would touch on the Acolyte show. That's another big invested show that they're doing. That's supposed to be the dark side. We're following a dark side apprentice or a trainee at the end of the High Republic. So that's supposed to touch on all the new books and comics that have come out in the last few years, to touch on the 200 years before the prequels. Why the Jedi start losing power, pretty much, and control of the galaxy. So I was hoping for that news. We didn't get anything there, but another one, Little Mermaid. I know a lot of people have grown up with that one. So I have a lot of cousins that were into that. So they, there's that, and not Little Mermaid. What was it?
One that I
Disenchanted?
just remembered,
And
Inside
then
Out 2.
There it is.
Yeah,
Inside
the
Out.
first Inside Out I thought was really enjoyable.
Yeah, I said Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
I meant that.
yeah,
That
Inside
one,
Out 2 should be fun.
Disenchanted. Those are some good ones. Those look fun. There was another movie that let's see.
Well, the big one that I know a lot of people are looking forward to would be Hocus Pocus 2. Yeah,
There you go. That's what it was.
That's gonna be end of this month, September, leading right into Halloween. So
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good Halloween month.
yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, like I mentioned to you in a text earlier, yes, the news wasn't quite as abundant as Comic-Con, but it was still really good. It was still really exciting. In fact, I had a lot of fun yesterday at work, just like following on my phone. Okay, refresh. Okay, what are you talking about now? Refresh again.
Yeah, it was fun. Yesterday was definitely fun. I think that was they knew that was gonna be their big showing. So, I mean, they went almost 2 hours over because of all the content and all the stage performances and all the stage presence that they had. So it's really nice. Yeah, for me, it felt a little divided because I know they kind of gave some off for a Comic-Con a piece things there, and then the rest here. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. I'll take what I can get. So
Yeah,
I'm just excited that now that COVID seems to be more and more behind us, the regular consistency is coming back. I mean, at the park, like you said, there's more interactions at the parks now.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we're really going to start to see a nice big influx of just content. I think next year we'll start getting big announcements for a lot of things. So really excited. This is a very good D23.
Very exciting. Yeah. And then so we'll just have to wait another 2 years. Because again, on not like Comic-Con, they do it every other year. So we won't see the next 23 until 2024.
24 with Star Wars Celebration. Those two will be huge.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Was there anything else for tonight? Are we good to wrap up?
No, I think I'm with you. I think we kind of touched on everything. I think it was a good weekend, and like you, we got a full slate of things to kind of keep an eye out on, and we got She-Hulk to finish up. How are you liking that show?
I'm enjoying She-Hulk. Yeah, I think it's been really good. I mean, we tell everybody when you're watching it, I mean, don't take it too seriously. Like, She-Hulk was actually breaking the fourth wall years before Deadpool was. So
yes, definitely. And a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's setting up, even if you don't particularly like the She-Hulk character, I mean, they're setting up really, really cool stuff. Like they're potentially setting up a Planet Hulk movie with the Shakar spaceship coming to Earth, bringing in Daredevil, which again, I think is going to happen very soon.
I believe so too. I think it's happening.
And then the comedic elements they've done, even like the what's her name, the Madison girl.
Yeah,
her interactions with Wong is actually kind of funny.
Yeah, dude, the show for me has been a hit. Like, I really like Miss Marvel. I really like the family vibes in that, and the comic element. It felt like a little Ferris Bueller, a little coming of age story. But this show, I've laughed every episode. It's been nothing but funny. It's fun, and then there's action, the story, there's a purpose to it, so it's been fun. So I'm glad you like it. I definitely am curious to see how it ends.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Me too. But I will say for the fans who aren't enjoying She-Hulk and don't like the lightheartedness of it, the comedy, don't worry, because you got Secret Invasion. I mean, I'm telling you right now, keep your eye on Secret Invasion, because that's going to be really, really good. That's going to be the Marvel show that I think a lot of fans are going to be clamoring for on Disney Plus, and lots of other great stuff coming on the pipeline too. Loki season 2, Echo, Daredevil when we eventually get it. So
full slate through Disney. When Marvel ends, the Star Wars begins. When the Star Wars ends, the Marvel begins. It's good stuff. I'm really glad we're just getting the consistency again.
Yeah, there's definitely no shortage of entertainment. So I mean, if you say there's nothing good on, I mean, just check out the streaming channels. There's definitely always something on.
Oh, definitely. There's gonna be lots to talk about tomorrow for sure if you're watching anything tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me tonight again, Eddie. We'll do this again really soon. It's always a blast chatting with you.
Oh, always a pleasure. Thank you for the invite, and have a good night, and I look forward to the next one.
Okay, thanks, Eddie. All right, you've been listening to the Casting for Fun podcast. Thanks, everybody.